Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Gregtech Community Edition Modern. As you can see behind me, we got two more of these lovely chemical baths up and running, and they are actually running in the chemical bath mode. So this is one of the things I said I was going to do, because I don't think you wanted to watch me set up 3 of these, but I can kind of show the settings really quick. They're all the same with the inputs on the same side. I did have to put a cyan cable in here so that we could have this cable line on a different section. I'm going to have to figure out how to get the dust out of here into where it needs to go. Probably just have to pipe it to a later chest down the line. But this is how I wanted to show how I resolved the ore separation issues, which is that this one is an inverted bus with all of the ores that can go into the other 2 chemical baths, and so that it will not accept those. Then we have ourselves a tag filter so that we do not get any of that. And I think we also need to say and not gems, not gems, because that will also clog it up. So those 2 things we do not want in there. Everything else can go in there, and we can keep it going. I just still love that you can hide in there. I wanted to see this one doesn't do anything either. Okay. Before we start, let me go grab a battery, because I just realized that it ran out and we are not charging. So, today's episode is going to be hopefully quick and simple. We're going to add ourselves a thermal centrifuge onto the tail end of it. Now, one of the downsides to what I'm going to be doing with this is it will not run fast enough by itself to deal with the additional ore washers. But we will see how well it runs to begin with. It is one of those things that, like, it will eventually catch up, because only some pockets do both, and they never do all 3, from what I could tell when I was looking at the different ore pockets. So that is one thing to note. As you can see, I did get another one of these titanium large combustion engines for the EV tier going. So the reason I'm doing these ones and not upgrading yet is I need another form of plastic, which, now that I realize that, I'll have to set up so that I can do another episode of making that different plastic. I can show it really quick if I can find it. It's this one right here, a polyphenylene sulfide. I think that's how you pronounce that. But we have to do it in a chemical reactor and get dichlorophenol, which we've done before, but we need stuff specifically for this one. So, gonna be doing probably this recipe, as this one, don't think iron chloride 2 actually has much of a use. As this does. Does not look like. Looks like it has a back and forth use, but that's about it. Yeah, not really any use in there. Perusian blue. Never mind, there is a use. And now we know. Oh. Never mind, there's no use, because there's no radio. I don't know if there's any radiation in this mod pack, but there is no, like, nuclear generator, so I would assume probably not. But let's go ahead and get underway. So this is how the centrifuge works, and I believe I can still put anything there, which is what I'm going to be doing, because we're going to line it up with right here. 1, 2, 3. We're going to do our parallel controller. I know it's a bit of a tight squeeze. Oh, too far. I know it's a bit of a tight squeeze, but once I get the new tier of generators up, I also plan on making a substation for batteries to then just run wires from to get out to where I need to power things. So kind of tight for a reason right now. Oh, I guess that's enough space. There we go. And then we want to do our automation hatch here. Now, these do have to come out one more on this one. And then we can go one in, and we can have our input bus right here. And then we go 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's do our machine core right there. And look at it one more time. It looks like we are doing it right. I just want to go ahead and place down. So I know that we need the pipe casing on the inside. We need the pipe casing in the 4 corners. Go out. Now we just got to fill that top up. So let's go 1, 2, 3, and I actually forgot we want our output over here. Let's do our output bus right there. Then we can put in our input hatches and output hatches up top, as I don't see needing them, but might as well have them on there just in case for some reason I do. Although I think those are in the wrong spot. No. Yes. Knew something was looking off. And boop. 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 1, 2, 3, 4. Oop. Almost. Right to there. And what are we missing? Alright, let's go through this. We've got the controller block. We have the parallel controller hatch, energy, input, output, pipe casing. Oh. That explains it. These are apparently... Alright, I thought it was the corners. It is. Here. Ta-da! Now we just need to make sure that we're in the thermal centrifuge mode so that we can have it function properly. Okay, now we just got to get this wired up somehow. So with all this extra dust in here, I do want to get ourselves this titanium crate. Go centrifuge. From the centrifuge, we can bring it over here to another macerator. Then all of the dust can compile somewhere around here for now. So let us look at what we've got extra. So we have dusts. I know we've got dust that we've got to worry about figuring out a spot for. I think that's it so far. So let's just go ahead and say wildcard dusts, or which is vertical line, or all gems, just so that we can make sure we cover our bases. So we'll put that in right there. And then this will allow for us to have these all. Just realized we're going to have to double check some stuff. So, pitch blend, all of this stuff should be fine. I wanted to take a look at this. is doing that one, which is kind of interesting. Oh, I know why it's doing that one. But it doesn't look like we have anything in here at the moment to concern ourselves with going through a route that it needs to go. Oh, no, there, right there. Right there, that can't go through. The tungstate has to get pulled out. I also don't know what else is in here. So, let us go. Let us just make this work. So we're just going to make it work. We're not going to worry about the pulling out of too much here. Actually, where's our tungstate's going over here? Oh, it comes over as dust. I didn't even think about that part. So we should be good then. Because the only other one that we're going to get that I need to worry about is the tungstate, so we can just send it through the process. Okay. So that means we need to pull our cables out front. So let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. And then we'll come straight across to all of our barrels. Let's get a... I think we do need import buses first. Let's do 3 of those. And let's also get another crate. Just realized I don't know if I have enough. Definitely do not have enough of those. So, oh, crates are done. Get that those are so fast. Okay. So, we will need this all the way across. Then we can put our import buses directly onto these. And they will import directly into there. And then we'll just need 2 separate storage buses. We'll go ahead and put this down right there, because that is where we will... No, we don't want to do that. What am I doing? That off. We need... Actually, that's fine. What am I talking about? This is a thermal centrifuge. I was thinking it's a regular centrifuge. That's not right. So we'll come over here. And then we're going to need another one of those olivine filters. Let's grab that and those filters. When you think you've crafted enough, keep going. That's basically what this is always seeming like. So, now that we've got that, let's look at crafting up a few more acceleration cards. Just to help with moving things along. And then I guess we need a storage bus. That was the last thing I forgot. Okay, and then we can pop that on over here at the end. So we are going to say that this, I believe it's purified. Yep. So we want all purified, goodness, 8 go away, purified underscore ores. That should be spelled right there, purified ores. Alright, make sure that that's all that gets inputted. And then let's grab out everything we got there. I'm first going to start with the storage bus. And we will accept that one. We should see it go ahead and say... Let's make sure that for some reason we are getting it over here. So this needs to say not, or only all crushed ores. I think that solves that issue. Okay. So now we should see it as those come in here. Okay. And this one just needs power. Backpack. And this should plug it in. That should suffice. Just need my pliers. There we go. Now, sad that it doesn't have its own little cool, like, thing that it does, but it's now working too. So now we will get our refined versions of stuff. And the best part is we can wire all of this up, so that, only except that, we need to put in there, and then we'll put one acceleration card in each, just to help with the speeding up the process of removal, as we also have to remove dust out of it. So now this is where we are going to need one more filter. Actually, no, we already got the filter set up. What am I talking about? So now we can come over with this and pile it on in to... Oh, that's what we need. We need a storage bus. And then this should work. Like, it works with the filter on it on the other one. So if this doesn't work, I don't know what else to do. But then that means we could then wire this up to be after the thermal centrifuge. Now, the only thing that we're going to have to figure out is I need to find out the name of all of the ores that need to be pulled out of the equation. Because those ones are going to have to be put into this storage bus, with an inverter card so that they do not go in there and they can go into the respective machines. We should see this start to fill up with our dust now. So now that allows us to keep processing more stuff and not have to be clogged up with a back order of things that are just not helping us. I do want to have an import bus on this thing as well, as it does pull out dust as it mines. And I did figure out the miner. It is quite literally just the tags where it says Silk Touch enabled or not enabled. You click that to cycle it. There we go. Those are now processing. It does seem to be taking... So it's 5 seconds per... How long is it taking on these ones? Okay, so this is a longer recipe. That is something to note, is the centrifuge will actually back up regardless because it takes longer for it to centrifuge anything than it does to do the rest of the stuff. So I might actually have to build a second one just to keep up with that. However, I don't see that necessary because this is just going to go through some more processing. We can always expand the parallel processing later on. And I can do something where, like, I build another one on top and I'll go up with it. And the same thing with all of these. But this seems like it should be enough for now. And we can go and take note of all of the ores we have to pull out before the centrifuge now. So we need the saffrolite? Salarite. So we'll do that one. We need galena. And then we need tetrahedrite, sheldonite, pendolite, right, chalcopyrite, and bornite. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those, and then I think there is one more. Yes, we need our bauxite pulled out. Our bauxite. We don't really need these pulled out, but it's nice to have them pulled out. I think that's it. Looks like it. The only other thing we gotta make sure that we have some of is, so that gets us all the way to here. Now we no longer need this steps. We'll just need to pull those ores out. So let's go schedule that into the inverter. This should prevent anything. The best part is once it's scheduled in the inverter as well, I'll also know which ones I gotta pull out to go elsewhere or other processes. The best part is I can even separate it like this, so I know which ones belong to a different process. Do that there, and then we need 1 and 2. I know technically this one should go on its own, just like right there, because it's its own thing. These are its own thing. And we could technically put Ruby up here as well, but Ruby's used for too many other things. I don't want to just slurry it out. There you go. We are now almost done through solving our solution and upgradability for our ore processing. I would like to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment. I would very much appreciate it. Thank you all and have a great night. Bye.